Warning, we are about to spoil the show Eden of the East. If you haven't seen the show, then please go watch it. But if you have, or if you don't care, then continue to watch us.
Okay, time to record the first. Why are you naked?
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Cinema Roulette, which, as you already know, today we are reviewing Eden of the East. An anime that I really love. So, this is one.
I haven't seen it.
Yep, this is one that I've seen, and Justin has not. So,
It hasn't been sitting on my shelf for over a year, 2 years at this point.
Did we ever?
I wasn't allowed to watch it because someone put it on the wheel and wouldn't take it off.
Did we ever mention with the story behind that? Did we ever say that on any previous episodes?
I think we have.
I think we have, but just to recap, I bought the premium edition of Eden of the East that included the whole series and the 2 movies in one package. So I decided to give Justin my old copy of it on Blu-ray, and I think it was around the holidays, and I'm like, oh wait, excuse me. Not quite that way, but I was like, oh wait, I have some money left over, and the Eden of the East movies are on sale for $20 each. Sure, I'll give him that just to complete the collection. So ever since then, it's just been sitting on his shelf because I put it on the wheel, and up until the last roll, we hadn't gotten it. So thankfully this time we got Eden of the East, and we're actually able to watch it so Justin can stop being sad, and I can stop being sad, and everyone can just be happy.
Also, I'm hearing an echo of myself.
Are you? Ah, shit. Technical difficulties. So today, if we can actually get to it, we are going to discuss...
We're talking Gravity Falls! No.
No, this is Eden of the East. This is Eden of
Title
the East.
card.
This is Eden of the East. We are not playing the song. No. As great as it is, we need to stay focused. We need to
Wait.
What?
Can we do the Eden of the East title card but play the Gravity Falls theme?
No.
I think we can.
We can, but to quote fucking Jeff Goldblum, it's like you're stopping to you think whether you could, and you're not thinking where you should.
We should.
No, we shouldn't.
Cameron, do it or I'll shoot you. We should probably talk about the show now, though.
I feel so dirty.
I can't make that joke.
Go on anyway. Do you want to start off, or should I start off?
Oh, fucking no.
God damn it!
I'm super low. More technical difficulty. Let us focus for 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Are we good?
No.
Great. Let's go. So should we start off with the plot and then discuss it, or what? What are we doing?
Since it all flows together, we can probably summarize the 4 episodes we watched and then talk about them all.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Because these flow into each other really, really well. So
we'll get to that.
Yeah. So did you want to sum, or should I sum?
You're the one who originally watched the show, so you sum.
Also fair. So the setup for the show is pretty great. So Eden of the East is it's I usually start like saying, oh, it's like a thriller or something, but it's really hard to peg the tone of this series, and we'll talk about that later.
If you've watched Durarara or played Yakuza, that level of comedic and serious being mixed together somehow well, that's this show.
Yeah, basically. That's what kind of show this is. So, I'm debating whether or not to just read the summaries on Wikipedia.
Don't.
Just so we can move it along.
No, that's cheating.
No, it's not.
It is.
It's not cheating. It's helping.
We're not. No sponsors.
Episode.
Can we bleep that out?
Yeah, you didn't have to tell me. I was going to.
I have to tell you a lot of things, Cameron.
Anyway. So the episode 1 starts out where little adorable girl named Saki, who it says like she's just graduated from college or something like that, but she looks a lot younger than that just because she's really cute. So she's
a senior in college.
Yeah. So she took a little trip to Washington D.C. and she's staying in front of the White House, and she's like, oh, I'm going to make a wish. And apparently there's this thing where like you take a coin and you throw it in the White House fountain or something like that. And
I think it was just the normal idea of throwing a coin and wishing well, but it was special because it's the White House one.
White House fountain. Unfortunately, 2 policemen catch her and are like, "Yo, that's pretty illegal. What did you just throw on the lawn? Because for all you know, it could have been a bomb or something. Who knows?" Thankfully, someone standing right behind them comes up in shadow, and it turns out this is our main protagonist, Akira Takizawa. And he's standing in front of the White House, buck-ass naked, holding nothing but a cell phone in one hand and a gun in the other.
This has not been explained in the next 4 episodes, in case you are wondering.
Not been explained. And so obviously that's a little more it's a little more eye-catching than the other one, so he distracts them long enough for her to run away or something. I forget what happens. No, they run away.
No, a truck passes in front of him. He hops on that, and the cops go after him instead of sticking with her.
Yeah. Well, no, he hops behind the railing thing because it looks like he got on it.
Oh yeah, it looked like he hopped on.
Yeah, and then he's like, "Hey, yo, I'm still here," and walks up to her. He's like, "Man, that was a close one," and he's still standing there just naked. And so they introduce themselves, blah, blah, blah. She gives him his coat and stuff, and a little chase ensues where he's trying to find what's going on, and all the meanwhile it's this mysterious person in a car is watching him like, "Ooh, I didn't think he was the one," or something like that. Foreshadowing and shit. So he's running throughout the streets wearing a woman's coat, a woman's hat, and no pants. So, and obviously people looking at him, he's like, "Man, I look ridiculous." And so Saki was going to go away and do something else. He's like, "Man, that was weird." But then it turns out she left her passport in her coat. And so Kira Takizawa is currently wearing the coat. And so she chases after him in a little mostly comedic chase scene. And then she's like looking after him. She finds him. And then something that again is never really explained. He tries to get pants, and she looks, and this guy just takes off his pants, it gives it to him, and he runs away with the pants.
Why?
I don't remember, if I'm being 100% honest. I have an idea, but I don't think
what can be said to you to make you take off your pants?
Honestly. So he goes to where his house is. He finds out that, because it says the location, but doesn't say the exact room. And a guy comes out, and he's like, "Oh, hey there." Because, he knows him. He's like, "Hey, my thing's on the 2nd floor, right?" He's like, "No, you're in 3B or something. Or, the 3rd floor, apartment 2 or something like that." And so he goes to his apartment, and obviously and I forgot to mention, he has amnesia. He has absolutely no reason. Or he has absolutely no recollection of anything before he was standing in front of the White House naked with a gun and a cell phone. He has no recollection. So he goes into the room. He's like, "What kind of person am I, And a bunch of alarms go off when he finds guns and passports and a picture of him in front of a bunch of guys that look like they're in a camp or something, like a prison camp.
Think, does the picture come later? No, it was when he was looking at passports.
Yes. Yeah, no, that's when he found it. He's like, "Man, I must have been a fucking terrorist or something." And so Saki knocks at the door. She's waiting for him, and he comes up to the door, and she's like, "Yo, can you give me my passport back?" And he's like, "Sure, one moment." And he tries to find his Japanese passport, and he's like, "Oh, Akira Takizawa. That must be who I am." And so he gives it back, blah, blah, and I guess... No, she's waiting for him to come out. And a policeman comes by because earlier they saw that there's a suspicious man and woman, even though she didn't do something super suspicious, but hey, plot convenience. So a policewoman comes up and she's like, "Hey, can I talk to you?" And Akira comes out of the room and just puts his arm around. He's like, "Okay, you ready? Let's go." And she's like, "Wait a minute. Turn around. I need to ask you some questions." And so she says, because they took a picture of him naked, they were trying to find a suspect. And she's like, "I need to see your Johnny," I think is how she says it. So he just drops his drawers. He's like, "Yo, is that identification for you enough?" And she's like, "Oh no, you can go." And so in this really funny, he turns around, walks away, and Saki goes all chippy, spins her around and walks with her. And he just goes, "Man, thankfully for me, it was cold out there."
Fucking Christ.
And so they decide to go back to Japan together. And so they're like, yeah, well, we can't show our face around the White House. Let's get in a taxi. And they're like, okay, taxi driver, can you do me can you do me a favor? Or I forget if he or someone else calls the police. Or no, he takes them to the police station. And it cuts to them in the airport. It turns out they cleared everything out through, I guess, bending the truth a little bit. And so they go to the airport and they introduce themselves. They seem to hit it off and they decide to go to Japan together. And so they're in the airplane, they're going back to Japan, or no, in the airport that they're in. This is the end of the first episode. They look at the screen and it's like, oh my God, a missile hit Japan. And it just shows this big fucking crater. And that's the note the episode ends on.
It's still, on the CNN bar, the part I love is, what's happening in Japan now? Like, dude, people are dead. Come on.
Yeah. And I don't know if that's like commentary on U.S. news or what. Who knows? But so second episode starts because on the Blu-ray it's actually kind of nice. They just start playing one after the other.
Most Blu-rays do that if you just hit play all. But...
I know, but we did actually separate episode selections, so that was interesting.
I think it's also because we usually stop since it's like next time on ba-ba-ba.
Oh yeah, we go right to the main menu. Yeah, these just end
so because those always just spoiled next episode. So what's the point?
Yeah, exactly. I always hated that. But yeah, that's right. We usually hit the menu button beforehand. But moot point. So next episode begins. They're landing in Japan, and they find out that people died during this. Like, we'll let you.
That's what missiles do.
Yeah.
No, it was a plane crash.
Well, no, it was missiles. And no, the reason that people dying was a big deal was because the other missile attacks didn't kill anybody. It was like made just to make a point or something like that. But this one, a bunch of people died, and she's like, "Oh no, people died this time." And he's like, "What? No one died last time?" And she explains that there was an attack a little while ago. I forget what time it was, if months or years or something, but it was called the Careless Monday attacks. And turns out like a bunch of things blew up, but nobody died just because I guess the terrorists just wanted to make a point. But this one killed a lot of people, and yet the airport was like all crazy and stuff, and they could barely move. And all this time he's talking to his cell phone. Or he's talking to his cell phone who is there's a person on the other line named Juice, and he's talking to her, and apparently she can do like anything, like she's his consulate or whatever, and he's trying to figure out like, what does this cell phone do, who am I, what is the point of all this, blah 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 blah. And so she's just like, he's like, so you can do anything for me, just no questions asked or whatever. And he finds out that he has like billions of dollars to spend, something like $8 billion, and he has to spend it all. And that's all the information we're given there. So he's like, okay, well, the airport's really crowded. I really need to get out. And can you do that? And she's like, thank you. What does she say? Noblesse oblige, blah, 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 something like that. But I pray for your continued service as a savior. Yeah. I don't know. I remember that really well. Probably because this is my third time sitting through the show.
Why have you sat through this twice?
Well, because I sat through the whole thing one time and didn't watch the movies. And by the time I got around to watching the movies again, it's like, it's been too long since I've seen the series. I should probably rewatch the series before watching the movies. Mm-hmm. And now I'm watching it again with you.
Fuck, that must suck.
I love it. I don't give a shit.
I know. No, you're watching with me. That's what's
Damn
up.
It. But yeah, so turns out like seconds after he makes a request, someone comes through honking with those little airport cards. He's like, nerd, yo, get on, or whatever. And so it cuts to, I guess there's a detective, and he earlier had found out that he's like, oh man, number 9's back in the country. I guess I hadn't seen him for a while or something. So he's going to like different places trying to find him. And I get, I forget, is it at the airport or is this afterward? I think it's afterwards, after he runs away, right?
It's still in the airport.
Still in the airport? Okay, yeah. He's like tracking him down. He's like, oh, damn it, he's at gate whatever. And he's like, oh, man.
No, wait, it might have been after the subways.
I think that was after that, yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
You're good. But yeah, so they're running together, and what am I saying? I just completely lost my train of thought.
You were talking about how the detective was like, yes. Where the hell is he? He's supposed to be right here, and then literally walks up to him and is like, hey, do you understand what this phone is?
Yeah, because he sees he has the same cell phone, taps him on the shoulder. He's like, yo, hey, I see you have the same phone. He's like, do you know, have you lost your memory by chance? And he's like, what? And he's like, oh, never mind. I just saw your phone, blah, blah, blah. He's like, wait a minute, who are you? He's like, oh, I'm this. And he explains that he has amnesia and trying to figure out who he is, and walks away. And the detective's like, so that's number 9, huh? Wink, wink. And so I think that comes a little little bit later, but oh well. I'm just giving a general recap. So they come, they're in the airport, and he goes and buys a pack of gum and shit. And poor Saki looks so awkward during all of this. I felt so bad.
Yeah, because I think the lie they were using was he was a celebrity.
Yeah, that was why. Like the whatever Jewish cooked up for him. It was like he was supposed to be a celebrity because like they get out of the airport and they're all clapping and cheering and stuff. And she's like, "Are you a celebrity?" He's like, "Not that I know of." So this whole time, bless you, buddy.
Thank you.
So this whole time, he had cooked up a lie like, oh yeah, I'm in my buddy's protest or whatever, and they get out of the airport and he's like, I have to level with you. Truth is, I have amnesia and I have no fucking idea who I am. And she's like, yo, I think before he said this, she's like, oh, I'm free this afternoon or whatever if you want to hang out and stuff. And he's like, well, I'm here, I gotta find out who I am. Okay, bye, and just runs away.
These are so sad.
It does. And she goes to the restroom. She's like, oh, damn it. I thought we were really hitting it off. And she's like, was it my smile? I don't think I smiled enough. And then all of a sudden, he comes to the bathroom. He's like, I think your smile is great. She's like, you can't be in here. And he's like, yeah, I kind of ran off without knowing where I went. Can you give me directions? And then, I'm trying to think. Hold on. Let me just go here.
That is a lot of traveling.
This is a generic traveling song for use when you're traveling.
Yeah, so this one ends with because like I guess it showed the guy sitting in a bar or whatnot, and like these two people that owed him money, or he owed them money, come up to him to basically like coerce him into doing something. He's like, you owe us this much money, but if you could lose a certain piece of evidence, we'd be willing to forgive the debt. And so they take him into an alley, and he basically says, no, screw you. And he's like, all right. And then he gets on the phone. And he's like, okay, Juice, kill these assholes. And so
hearing this, being point blank next to him, they do nothing.
Yeah. I think he was more like supposed to be whispering it into his cell phone, but they didn't convey that real well. Like they weren't supposed to hear him, but the
voice actor just didn't.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. I think, but the thing is, the voice actor didn't change his tone or his volume at all, so it just sounded like he said it in front of him.
I think it's funnier if he just goes like, "Yeah, kill these assholes." What did you say? Nothing.
Yeah,
it's fine.
Yeah, exactly. So he turns around and he just points his gun at them like a finger. Or he points his finger at them like a gun. Man, thanks, brain. He points his finger at them like a gun, and he's like, oh, are you joking? And he just goes, bang. And then he shoots the henchman, bang, in the head. Just blood splatters all over the guy. He's like, oh, fuck. And then bang, and he kills the other guy. And so they're both shot, and so he's like, and then it turns out that there was a pedestrian that saw the whole thing, and he gets scared and turns around and he's running. He's like, oh, I guess I'll have to kill this one too. And so he just straight up kills that guy as well. And I think in this shot, you can see in the background, I noticed that like one of the shots came from a cop car, and then the car.
Yeah, you could see the cop car before. Yeah. With the other two as well.
Yeah, like as soon as he said bang, you saw the muzzle flare, and then the car just drove off. I don't think it actually showed the pedestrian being shot, but yeah, that's how that ends on a very sinister note. And again, like you said, this mixes comedy and like seriousness, but somehow it just doesn't feel out of place. It's really well done when it comes to that. So this one, episode 3 begins when Akira and Saki, they're trying to find where he lives, and it turns out he lives in a fucking mall, just in a big abandoned mall. And so they get to the mall, he gets his keys, and he finds out where, to unlock the door and all that. Thanks, Brain. I'm glad you put that in a very eloquent way. He, finds, the keys,
key and, unlock a door.
Basically, they get in the mall, and it's pitch black, and this big shadow looms toward them, and they like freak out. It comes out like, and he trips, pulls the light switch. It turns out to be this adorable little dog with a little harness.
It's that dog.
Yeah, it's that dog. A little harness with like angel wings coming out. It's so cute.
Oh no, more angels in anime. I can't handle this.
And then, so they're just exploring the mall and stuff, and they're hypothesizing about what Akira might have been like. He might have been a projectionist at the mall, because his thing is he knows a lot about movies, but doesn't know really anything about himself.
Remembering all the important things.
Yep. I think it was the second episode, the one with the boat ride?
Yeah.
Yeah, second episode, they talk a little bit about more character development stuff. I left out just because it wasn't really important, but that scene was beautifully fucking shot. Which again,
talk about it later. Continue.
Talk about later. So, they go through the mall hypothesizing, and like he offers to play her a movie that she had seen, and so it's something about a dolphin and a diver, and she's like,
Which sound like a dolphin and a diaper.
yeah, because they said it so fast that it sounded like a dolphin in a diaper, and it's like, did he just say a dolphin in a diaper? And so he finds the movie and plays it, but it turns out the detective had tracked him down. And he
It wasn't exactly hard.
no, it wasn't exactly hard, but even following him. And so he comes to the, like, Akira's getting the movie set up while she and the dog play the movie, and he's up in the projection booth, and the detective comes in, he's like, oh, blah blah blah. They have like a little bit of a banter. It's like, man, can you just tell me about myself? I really know nothing about me personally. And so a detective has an ulterior motive, of course. So he plays the movie's playing as they're talking, and he knocks Akira out because he wants his cell phone, because he figures that, like, he's running kind of low on cash, and if he steals Akira's cell phone, he'll be able to get his unlimited supply of cash. So
because at this point he mentions to Akira that if your account hits 0, you're killed within like seconds.
Yeah, like after he beats him up, he's like, yeah, some guy named the supporter will come by and put 2 in your head if you run out of money. So and then he runs away. Akira passes out in the projectionist booth, leaving poor Saki all alone to watch the movie. And she cries and thinks that he dumped her. And so
Or just abandoned her.
Because
the dog was an asshole and didn't sniff out where he was.
Yeah. And so as she's going away, like, I guess she leaves a little note in his collar and then sends him back in and runs off. And so Akira wakes up. He's like, oh, damn it. Shit, what happened? Blah, blah, blah. And the dog walks up to him, sees if he's okay. And he pulls out the note and it just says, you jerk. Yeah, so she goes home. Yeah, she goes home. She's all sad and stuff. And like, she goes back home to her sister's, I guess her sister's family or something, because it's revealed that her parents died and she was left with her sister and their family to take care of it or whatever.
It's like Lilo and Stitch with no aliens.
Yeah, pretty much. And so Akira, before he passed out, we saw that he snatched up the detective's badge and all that. So he calls up his own cell phone, and he's like, or no, he goes to a payphone later and calls him up, because the detective is in the basement area of a place, and he like dials up the cell phone, and like he's like, okay, now I have more money, and so he can't. He finds out, like, shit, this should work the same. And so he calls up Juice on his phone, and he's like, yo, this phone should be working fine. How does this phone work? And it turns out that it's fingerprint recognized, so he has no access to all Akira's money is only his, and he just spent his last dollar because he thought that he'd be good. So he knows he's about dead. And Akira calls him from a cell phone, or from a payphone. He's like, yo, I know you can hear me. I have your badge, blah, blah, let's meet up. And so they decide to meet up, and in like a certain square place. And so the detective is there, and Akira goes to meet with him. And turns out that right before he goes to meet with him, I guess something happened where Juice, like, or the supporter or someone leaked information to his wife, where
No, he did it himself by accident.
Yeah, he did it himself by accident. Is that what happened? I thought that
that's what it says, but you could also infer that Juice did.
Yeah. I would say I more inferred that, like, the supporter leaked information to her, and then that caused her to try to kill him.
But that would be kind of a lame way to be like, okay, he's going to definitely die from this.
Yeah. But yeah.
I also like to think that there was an assassin with a sniper lining up the shot and then just sees this woman come and go.
It's like, well, it makes my life easier.
Oh, man.
Darn it. I bought this fancy new sniper rifle and everything. But and then so he goes, he's already stabbed, and he reveals to him that, like, he thinks that Akira's the supporter. And so that's where the episode ends, with him being stabbed. And basically in this next one, not too much happens. It's just more like information. And then Akira goes to he looks up like the other Selesao's activities, because you can see what the other people are doing. And he finds out that it was one person purchased an MRI machine, because the detective told him that, like, Juice is going to give you nothing, because he sat on the phone to Juice talking to her about to no end. And so it turns out that, like, he's like, you might want to just talk to the other Selesao. And he finds out an MRI machine was there, so he goes and tracks that to a hospital, and he's like, hey, can I talk to the director? He's tell him I'm a Selesao and all that. So the director calls him. He wants to meet with him. He sends a nurse to give him pills to knock him out, and he just kind of, just rolls with it. He's like, fuck it. And then he thinks he was poisoned. Then he wakes up, vomits, and it's revealed that all these people that are called Celestial, there's 12 of them. And their whole thing is they have to do something to change the country
for the better
with the amount of money that they're given. And if one of them succeeds, then the other ones will just be eliminated. Or if they run out of money before they can change anything, they'll be eliminated. And the guy who's giving him this information, his name is Mr. Outside. And so all that's revealed, and he talks to the doctor for a bit, and he was like, yeah, I got mine the same way, and that's what basically explains that's what the Celestial are. That's what they're supposed to do. They're basically forced in this game. Like, they have no option. They're forced to play this little game. And they have to spend money every so often, or else, they'll be eliminated by the supporter. And
and one of the Celestials is the supporter, but no one knows who the supporter is.
Yeah, that's left a complete mystery. You're not allowed to find out who is the supporter
till the end of the season.
Yep. But yeah,
unless they keep the mystery for the movies. But
I forget, honestly.
One job.
But yeah, he talks to his doctor. It turns out this doctor set up this elderly care home for the community. And this elderly care home to give older people something to do and, housing to live and room to feed and do better for the community. And he's like, man, so you're definitely going to win this game. I guess I'm dead. And he's like, nah, I'm just doing this for my own selfish needs. This isn't really enough to change the country. I can just hope it's self-sufficient after my death. And Akira's just like, what the fuck does Mr. Outside expect from us? If this isn't good enough, I don't know what the hell I'm going to do. And so he's basically like, I just did this for my own means. I'm perfectly content with dying right now. He's like, I never went into this game expecting to win it. I just wanted to change my community right here, right now. And this really upsets Akira because he goes downstairs after he talks with him, and it turns out that the supporter comes to kill the doctor, and he hears the gunshot, I think, from upstairs, and he's like, really? Ah, damn it, that's the supporter, isn't it? Yeah, man, this Mr. Outside is a fucking asshole. I just really want to deck him in the face. I think that's where it ends. That's where it ends, with him driving off and just like, man, this kind of sucks. So it's revealed basically what this whole game is. So that's basically the little plot. And I know that took a while, but we had quite a bit of ground to cover in kind of a short amount of time. So so let us proceed. So Eden of the East, there's a lot of different things to talk about. What should we talk about first besides the plot?
How cute the dog is.
Yes.
And can we just focus the episode on that now?
Love the dog so much.
Does the dog ever get a name, or?
I forget.
I'm going to call him Ein until further notice.
Call him Ein until you're corrected.
Because Ein is just cute.
Yeah.
The animation is so nice on him. He just does his little waddles, and it's so fluffy, and has a butthole for some reason.
But he also blushes. It's so cute.
He blushes, and he has his own little food machine that he pushes the buttons for.
So cute. Kira's dog is adorable.
Anyway, on to important plot stuff, probably.
But yeah, the characters are very well done in this. They're, who everyone is. It's not like other series where it's forgettable. They're very well done. The animation is fucking gorgeous. Especially for a series made 10 years ago now.
Oh, fuck. Don't talk like that. I know it's right. Yeah. Okay, to be fair, anime 10 years ago, that's not gonna... Actually, there hasn't been much change series-wise.
What do you mean series-wise?
There's, at least from what I've seen with anime, there's years of stagnation with how good animation looks.
Mm.
And honestly, stuff like Eden of the East or Jormungand, those shows still look really good even compared to anime released today.
Jormungand was more recent though.
It might have been, but it's still probably more than 5.
Yeah, I was gonna say, but I don't know. I was gonna say, because obviously, I think in the past 10 years it hasn't changed much, but even still, it's still a very gorgeous series.
Yeah, it looks great. I'm just saying, it's not gonna look too much different unless it's a movie. That's usually where more of some really hardcore animation goes, like Your Name.
Yeah, exactly, because movies obviously have a much bigger budget, so
and only have a smaller time span to do all the animation.
But I digress.
Yes, show is pretty as fuck.
Yeah, show is gorgeous. And
It also, sorry.
Go ahead.
Also, with the animation, it was able to really balance going from a comedic style and sticking in the normal style.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes that's a problem. Like,
Hellsing.
the only one I can think of at the moment is Hellsing.
Yeah.
Hellsing Ultimate. Because whenever they do something wacky, the whole animation style seems to change and it doesn't look like it fits.
Mm-hmm.
But when, her name's Saki, right? I'm not saying that
Saki.
wrong?
Yeah, Saki. Did you hear me?
Okay.
Okay.
No, you got cut off for me.
Gotcha.
Sorry.
It's okay.
But when Saki is shocked as Akira drops his pants in front of the cop, I almost didn't notice it for a second.
Uh-huh.
Because it blended in so well to the background. So I was like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Because, like, it's more subtle than, like, Hellsing, where the whole art style changes. Like, I think it's just the character models change, and, like, she kind of goes a little chibi when she goes, ah!
Yeah, and they even put I'm not sure if you noticed, but they put a little outline around her, so that way it kind of blends in with the background better.
Yeah. That's nice. But yeah, and that's the other thing is the tone is interesting, and I could never quite peg down what it was because it has a lot of comedy in it, but also it has serious stuff mixed in that does not feel out of place. It's really strange.
Yeah, the flow of it is so jarring at times, but not in a bad way.
No, exactly. So
almost like one of those haunted house rides that are on tracks, where you can suddenly turn at any moment, but still feels somewhat natural.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the best way I can fucking describe it.
Yeah, that's fine. I think your comparisons were good too with Durarara. So
Durarara or Yakuza.
The Yakuza video games, yeah, where
Yakuza might be going a bit too over the top.
Yeah. But no, yeah, needless to say, again, it kind of has its own tone. It's something I really haven't seen much in other animes, but I haven't seen Durarara, so...
Also, wait a second, this isn't our anime that only you have seen, and you told me it's really funny, so when is my heart going to be stabbed?
Okay, again, I've seen this way more than Angel Beats. I watched Angel Beats once years ago before we watched it, so forgive me for not remembering that it gets sad in episode 2.
Episode 2!
Okay, it wasn't horrible in episode 2, but there was the sad flashbacks. Episode 3 was where it tore out your heart.
Which is still pretty early.
I'm sorry. I've said that a million times. I'm sorry.
I know, and I've already slapped you in the face at this point.
Yes. But yeah, no, I don't remember any, like, sad, jarring, horrible, gut-punching moments off the top of my head.
Dog better not die, or the series is your
The dog does not die. The dog does not die.
I think he's on the cover of the... Yeah, he's on the cover of the second movie, so I'm assuming he's going to make it.
No, he's fine. He's fine. But...
Hooray! Dog lives!
What was the old nostalgic joke? Someone will live.
Boomer. Boomer will live.
Boomer will live. But, yeah, so the tone's good, and the plot is really interesting. Like, it gives you nothing... Like you said, the cliffhangers were interesting because they kind of...
Well, I didn't say it here. I said before we started.
Sorry, I mixed it up. But yeah, the plot is also very interesting. Like, it has an interesting setup, and the way they give you more information and stuff is really well done.
Yeah, and... What I said about cliffhangers before we started was, yes, it still keeps you interested in the show, but they're not bullshit cliffhangers where it's like, this character is about to be shot in the face, and next episode.
It's basically, it's not Ruby Volume 3.
Or 4.
Or
5.
or any of the seasons after 3.
Basically. Well, okay, for Season 4, the first half was fine, and then when it gets to the later episodes, it's like,
yeah.
And next time on Ruby.
Oh, it was so bad.
That's why I haven't been watching Volume 6.
That's fair. I have been.
I'm waiting. We'll have to talk about Ruby on here at some point.
Yeah, we will.
Does that count as a TV show or a movie?
TV show.
So confusing.
TV show.
Yeah, but we'd probably just do episodes volume by volume because you can watch it. They're about the length of a movie.
Yeah, so they're still a TV show technically.
Okay.
Yeah, because we did Gravity Falls season 2.
Yeah, but that's because Gravity Falls is great, and we couldn't just sit through a handful of episodes.
That's true. Yeah, well, and he's not implying Ruby also isn't amazing.
I'm not.
So
I
just
fucking
so
love
that's
Ruby.
clear.
I know some people don't like it, and those people are wrong,
it's
but it's fine.
It's okay to be wrong. But no, yeah, that's I'd still count it as a TV show. It's just the episodes and seasons are not long enough. At least
I count them as movies.
At least up until Volume 4. That's when no, they're not movies, Justin. I will fight you on that.
The first 3 are movies.
They're not movies.
They
They just so happen to be movie length. They just so happen to be easily editable.
This is completely off topic of Eden of the East.
Don't care. Anyway,
let's just go with Justin is right and save everyone time.
No, not in that case.
Yes.
No.
Anyway.
I refuse, good sir.
Sucks to be you.
I was just trying to think of what else we have to talk about. Story's good, character's good, animation's good.
With the fucking detective, we were talking about this too, how he is the generic design from every anime ever.
Yeah, they really don't vary it up too much when it comes to anime detectives, if I'm being perfectly honest.
There's one Psychopaths, there's one Tokyo Ghoul, there's one
Future Diary.
Oh, what else did I say?
Future Diary.
Future Diary. They're always white guy. Well, okay, looks white. Usually they're Japanese.
They're always white guys, basically.
They look like generic white guy.
Yeah.
Japanese, or no, not the. Long tan coat.
Yep. Or long coat, period.
Uncombed, short black hair, and 5 o'clock shadow.
A tie that's usually slightly loose.
Tie that's slightly loose. Oh, Darker Than Black had a detective this.
Did it?
Yep.
Of course.
Gungrave probably had one.
Probably. I was going to say it's the Mafia, so there's probably a detective thrown in there somewhere.
Yeah, there's a lot. Was there one in Black Lagoon?
Yeah, I think. I'm trying to remember.
Maybe in the final arc of the show?
There might have been.
I forget.
We've seen that anime.
Darn! Guess I have to watch Black Lagoon again.
The sad thing is we've seen that anime probably more through than any other anime, and we don't know the answer to that question.
Yeah, but if there was a detective character who's probably there for like an episode.
Yeah, I was gonna say, he's not a main character or anything.
Yeah.
Every
I'm not holding that against the show or anything.
No,
it's just like, it's kind of funny how so many anime use it.
Yeah, it's a big cliche. Like they use the same generic detective, and it's one of those. Like I always notice too. Like a lot of bad guys usually have long white hair.
That's just because it looks cool.
It does though.
Actually, with Future Diary, this is basically a different version of Future Diary in a way.
Oh, Jormungand had the detective. That was the other one.
Jormungand did?
Yeah, Jormungand. He had the detective.
Yeah, it did. Yeah. But this show is kind of like Future Diary because everyone has cell phones that are connected in some way. They're all playing a game, and eventually everyone will die except for one winner.
Wait a minute. Is there 12 people in Future Diary as well?
Yeah, there's 12 people.
Oh, fuck.
Well, okay, technically there's more because some people are couples.
Oh, yeah.
Which, if I got into spoilers of Future Diary, I can talk about how the ending was and how it could have been solved in so many different ways. Anyway.
That is a long discussion that we were not
going
to get into.
When we watch Future Diary, that will be a very long final episode of Justin complaining a lot.
Because I think it is a 4-episode arc, isn't it? So that would be perfect.
Probably, I don't know.
No, I remember it is.
It might have been 6 episodes actually for the final.
Well, no, because I think it's 4 for when it gets like plot holy. I think it's 4 and then the OVA.
The OVA doesn't matter. We can.
I know it doesn't. I'm just saying. I think it is.
That's a different discussion. We need to focus on the end of these.
Okay. Yeah, did we run out of things to say, or you were talking about the detective? I didn't know if you were going anywhere with it.
I'm just talking about the show.
Yeah,
what I like.
Leave me the fuck alone, Cameron.
The main character, though, he's a fucking idiot, but he's great.
Yeah, Justin compared him to Archer just in the fact of his train of thought. Like, I'm just gonna do this and see how it works out. It'll probably work out, but...
And he honestly can't keep his mouth shut that he is a secret agent of some sort.
Yeah, because he just walks up to the one guy with the cell phone, and instead of thinking, oh shit, I don't know what this is, let me approach this with caution, just taps him on the shoulder, hey bro!
Oh, there's one thing
Yeah.
to talk about.
Uh-huh.
What the fuck was the dream sequence?
Oh yes, there's
Where
this
Kira
very-
goes drives is going to drive to the detective, but goes on a highway that was broken due to the missile mentioned earlier.
Uh-huh.
He's looking over the edge, and all of a sudden you see him fall forward. He lands and starts shouting Johnny as these weird goo skeletons lick him.
Yeah, it was fucking weird. Like I warned him just a little before. I'm like, oh, I think it gets trippy here. And then yeah, because he's driving like a motorcycle, and then he like goes head first into there, and these weird things come out like television start licking him, but then they start biting him, and he's like, ow, you didn't have to bite me, just get away, you bunch of useless bastards. And then it just cuts back, and he's just standing like on a little like lip below the bridge,
Yeah.
which is lucky because if that lip wasn't there, he'd probably be dead. But yeah, there's this trippy fucking dream sequence, which I forget honestly if it's ever explained or not.
Yeah, it was just out of nowhere. It's like, why?
Yeah, it was strange to say the least, and I think it's like hinted at or like kind of explained, but yeah, that is just a weird fucking sequence, and I don't know.
Also, we did find out he kidnapped the picture we talked about earlier, where there was like a ton of people behind him.
Mm-hmm.
We found out that he was definitely the one that kidnapped all of them, and they've all been missing for years now.
Yeah, that group of people is called Neets, by the way, Neets.
Yeah, and
Yeah, he kidnapped
he
them.
assumes that he killed them all.
Yeah, because in the mall area, it showed like he had the picture showing where it looked like a concentration camp, and he's like, "Wait a minute, was this where it happened?" Because he noticed like a little decoration sticking out, and he puts the picture up to it, and he's like, "Yeah, is definitely where this happened because there's just thousands of people just trapped there," and he assumes like, you know, they're not here anymore. I might have killed these people. I might be a terrible person because other Selisaos are saying too how like you know, oh, number 9, you're a very dangerous person or something, or like because he has kind of this reputation and like where everyone knows it's like, oh, it's number 9 or something like that.
I'm going to, since I haven't seen the show, I'm going to have 2 guesses. One, he's a Vash the Stampede in the fact of like everyone thinks he's dangerous, but he's really not. Or well, he technically is, but he doesn't want to be in a way.
And that might have been why he erased his memories.
Yeah, or like maybe something went wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think he killed everyone. I think he helped them disappear in some way.
Gotcha.
Like get off the grid.
Yeah. Okay.
Or he's fixing Japan. He took all the bad people and pushed them somewhere else.
Something that we need to do right now. Anyway.
Politics.
Yeah. That's, again, the closest we're ever going to get to politics on this show.
That's a lie.
Yeah, you're right. But yeah, so there's still mysteries there. But yeah, and actually the 4th episode, like I think I mentioned, that's actually a good stopping point because it leaves a cliffhanger, but it's not like a horrible one. So you find out.
Yeah, so we can watch the next episodes right after we're done, right?
Yeah, absolutely. If you want.
I don't know if I'm waking up.
That's fine. We could do that tomorrow or something.
What's tomorrow? Tomorrow's Thursday.
Yeah.
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 Besides that, why can't I remember her name? Saki?
Yeah, just it's like the drink, sake. Just remember.
Yeah, that's what I keep trying to remember it as. I feel really bad for her. I want her to be happy.
Yeah, because she just graduated from college, and there's a lot of moments where she kind of breaks down just because Akira is kind of a numbskull, or some circumstances happen where he's not able to go say hi or like something like he kind of is a dick and just leaves her and kind of makes her upset. And then during the movie thing, like he gets wrapped up in this whole conspiracy and passes out before he can do anything. And Saki acts like he dumped her, so or she thinks that like he just abandoned her. So.
I want her to be happy, or to become super cool spy with him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or to keep the dog. We need more dog.
They keep the dog. Don't worry, dog is cute.
I want more dog.
I know, it's cute. So cute. But yeah, so far so good, and I'm really glad you're enjoying this. So.
Yeah. Oh, that's the thing I wanted to say. Usually when we're watching shows, I crack wise. Both crack wise.
Yeah.
A lot. I couldn't during this because I was focusing too much.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was like, yeah. So I took that as a good sign too. It's just like, so are you enjoying it? He's like, well, I was quiet the whole time, so yeah.
That means one of two things: either A, Justin fell asleep on the other side of the call, or B, he's focusing.
Yeah, which I'm glad. I'm glad you're enjoying it as much as I did, because I really dug the hell out of this when I first sat through it. So
I lied. I was sleeping.
that's totally why I can remember details that I couldn't have otherwise.
I predicted the most cliched story that I would tell. Boom.
Yeah, no. So yeah, that Eden of the East really good so far. Again, I love the show, and I'm glad Justin's enjoying it as well. So anyway, I think that's all we have to say on it for the time being.
What movie do we have next?
Oh, what did we roll? I'm trying to remember.
Was it Evil Dead?
Yeah, the Evil Dead remake.
Yay! Awesome.
I'm excited for that one. That one's gonna be cool.
Number two. Oh, you just got a message, not me.
Yeah, that was me. You're good.
Hurt you. And everyone listening, just check their Discord. You're welcome.
All right, so we will catch you guys next time on Cinema Roulette.
Bye.
Bye.